Morning, Moody students, life scientists. Mr. Eaton here. We're beginning week 13 this week. Today actually is Monday when I'm doing this, and it's the celebration or the observance rather of Veterans Day. And we had quite a Veterans Day commemoration yesterday at our church, and we have a number of veterans among our members. But what I wanted to do today also was to lead you into lesson 7. Now, I realize that there are several of you now that are getting to lesson 7 and 8, and you're even getting done. I know there are several of you that are working on your term papers and you're doing some outside research on the issues of human origins and evolution and creation and looking up some of the peripheral ideas such as intelligent design, creation. And all of that together is important, but in lesson 7, we actually take a little bit of a sidestep to look at environmentalism. When I was in high school, the environmentalist movement was just beginning. It was, first of all, the environment as such was a scientific concept and study that was very minor in most colleges until we began to see things such as in the area where I grew up in the mountains of Southern California, where we were seeing trees dying because of over exposure to smog. And it was what it was doing was destroying the bark of the California pine trees, and all across the mountains, the San Gabriels and the San Bernardinos, uh, which covers almost half of the state from east to west. We were seeing trees that were dying that had thrived through years and years of heavy storms and different kinds of tragedies and things, and yet they had managed to survive. And now they were dying off because of the damages to their defenses by smog. And environmentalism became a really big issue in that time period. And I'm out here in my front yard because this is the time of year I have to get some raking done over here later on. That's one of the things I'm working on. And there are a variety of things right now that are really key to um, preserving the environment we live in. And my wife and I love this place because we work all through the spring and summer and into the fall out here in the yard. And but environmental studies is a big part of life sciences, and it also is an area that you'd be surprised how many Christians are involved in, particularly in the areas of forestry. I have on my grandmother's grandfather, my maternal grandfather's side of the family, quite a number of the family members who went into forestry as a life work. And they were, all of them were devout believers. So, environmental studies is kind of big with me. Anyway, what I want you to do this week as you're looking at the area where you're living, and I know a lot of you, a lot of the students in this class are actually in Chicago on campus there at Moody, and you're involved with one of the biggest cities in the country, and you're living in an urban environment, and it's quite a bit different from living in a country environment. Spokane is actually in a transition. It's becoming more of an urban environment over the years because it's a very desirable place to grow and raise families and live here. And consequently, it's growing in size and spreading out. So we're seeing changes here that are really directly affecting the environment. But right here, right now, today, I just wanted to get you started, get your taste buds going for the study of Lesson 7, Environmental Studies. And what I want you to do as you get into this is really think about, your role as a Christian, whether you're going into missions, whether you're going into pastoral ministry, whether you're going into TESOL, and going to be involved in an educational setting wherever you happen to land. Or if you're actually thinking about getting married and starting a family right now and still maintaining a presence in ministry of some kind, all of these things, you're going to be involved with environments around you. And wherever you live, you're going to live in a particular type of environment. And so I hope you'll take the time to maybe get out and take a walk around if it's safe to do so in Chicago, but to look around or maybe take a drive if you're able out in the country and see what you can learn about the way things are set up. I'll tell you, one thing about environmental studies, if any one of the sciences will bring a person closer to an understanding of God's creation and how integrated it is and how connected the different components of God's creation are on this earth, especially, environmental studies will do that. So I hope you'll get into it, hope you'll enjoy it, and have a great week. And this is kind of the ending of last week's and the beginning of this week, but I hope you really enjoy it, and I hope that you're hanging in there. We're getting close to Thanksgiving, I know, and some of you are going to be heading home, and some of you are not. You're going to be staying close to home. Some of you may, if you're in full-time ministry, actually be responsible for Thanksgiving services and other things. So bear in mind, we're really getting into God's heart here as we get into environmental studies. God bless. Keep up the good work, and I'll be talking to you again very shortly.